Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Lou and the Moment I Paused in the Middle of the Day and Quote. Please like. Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Lou and the Moment I Paused in the Middle of the Day and Quote. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Lou has a quiet way of existing in my life, the kind that doesn't demand attention but somehow always receives it. He is my cat, soft-furred, calm-eyed, and always a little wiser than he looks. That morning began like so many others. The alarm rang, the room filled with pale sunlight, and the city outside hummed with its usual urgency. I reached for my phone before my feet even touched the floor, already scrolling, already thinking about what needed to be done. Lou was sitting near the window, his tail curled neatly around his paws. He wasn't sleeping. He was simply watching the world. Birds hopped along the wire outside, leaves trembled in the breeze, and somewhere below, a motorbike coughed to life. Lou's ears twitched at every sound, but his body remained still, grounded, peaceful. As I rushed around the room, pulling on clothes and half listening to the morning news, Lou followed me with his eyes. Not moving, not meowing, just watching. There was something almost comical about it, as if he were quietly judging my frantic energy while refusing to participate in it. When I finally bent down to tie my shoes, Lou stood up and walked toward me. Slowly, deliberately, he rubbed his head against my ankle, leaving behind a few strands of fur and a surprising amount of warmth. I laughed, a short sound, more habit than joy. Not now, Lou, I said gently, though my tone carried no real irritation. But Lou didn't leave. He sat down right in front of me, looked up, and blinked, slowly, deliberately. Anyone who lives with cats knows that blink. It's trust. It's affection. It's a small, quiet "I'm here." For a moment, I paused. Just a moment. My hands rested on my knees. My phone buzzed in my pocket, and Lou continued to look at me as if the rest of the world could wait. And then, just as quickly, I stood up, grabbed my bag, and stepped out the door. Lou stayed behind, returning to his spot by the window, watching me leave without complaint. I didn't realize it then, but that small interaction had planted a seed. A reminder I wouldn't fully understand until later that day. The day unfolded exactly as expected. Meetings stacked on top of each other. Messages arrived faster than I could respond. Lunch was eaten quickly, almost absent-mindedly, while staring at a screen. My mind felt like it was constantly racing ahead, always thinking about the next task instead of the one in front of me. By early afternoon, exhaustion crept in quietly. My shoulders tightened. My eyes burned. The noise of the world, keyboards clicking, phones ringing, people talking, felt louder than usual. I told myself to push through. There was still so much to do. When I finally returned home, the sun had shifted. The light was softer now, spilling gently across the floor. I dropped my bag by the door and let out a long sigh I didn't realize I'd been holding all day. Lou was there, of course. He was lying in the middle of the living room, stretched out on his back, completely unbothered by time or responsibility. His paws were slightly curled, his belly exposed, his eyes half closed in absolute trust. He looked like someone who had mastered the art of living. I stepped over him at first, careful not to disturb his comfort. But as I walked toward the kitchen, I felt something tug at me, not physically, but emotionally. A sense of longing. Or maybe envy. I turned around. Lou had opened one eye and was watching me again. There was no urgency in his gaze. No expectation. Just presence. Without really thinking, I sat down on the floor beside him. The cool surface pressed against my legs, grounding me in a way the entire day had failed to do. Lou didn't move. He simply adjusted slightly, pressing his side against my thigh. His purring started softly, a low vibration that felt less like sound and more like reassurance. That was the moment I stopped. Not because everything was suddenly solved. Not because my responsibilities disappeared. But because Lou, in his quiet, unassuming way, had invited me into the present. There, on the floor, with a cat who asked for nothing but closeness, time seemed to stretch and soften. I ran my fingers through his fur, feeling each breath rise and fall beneath my hand. My own breathing slowed to match his. The noise in my head quieted. The world, for once, didn't feel like it was chasing me. Minutes passed. Or maybe it was longer. It didn't matter. Lou rolled onto his side, then his stomach, and finally sat up, giving himself a lazy stretch. He looked at me once more, as if checking whether I was okay now. And in that moment, I realized something simple and profound. Stopping isn't the same as giving up. Sometimes, it's exactly what allows us to keep going. Lou doesn't know about deadlines, goals, or long-term plans. He doesn't measure his worth by productivity or success. Yet, in his own quiet way, he contributes something invaluable to my life. He reminds me to exist. Living with animals is often described as companionship, but it's more than that. It's a relationship built on shared space, mutual observation, and unspoken understanding. Lou doesn't try to change me. He simply lives honestly, and in doing so, invites me to do the same. Since that day, I've noticed small changes. I pause more often. I sit on the floor with Lou even when my to-do list is long. I watch how he chooses sunny spots to nap, how he stretches without embarrassment, how he listens to his body without guilt. These aren't habits we're taught as humans, but they're habits we desperately need. Lou has also taught me respect. Respect for boundaries, for silence, for moments that don't need to be filled. When he wants affection, he comes close. When he doesn't, he leaves. There is honesty in that, and kindness too. Our lives intersect in simple ways: shared mornings, quiet afternoons, peaceful evenings. And in those shared moments, something beautiful happens. I become calmer. He becomes more trusting. We grow together, not through words, but through presence. Lou, in the moment I paused in the middle of the day, taught me something deeply relevant to modern life. Slowing down is not a weakness, but a form of care. In a world that constantly pushes us to move faster, do more, and think ahead, animals like Lou remind us of the power of now. They live fully in the present, responding to the world as it is, not as it should be. We can apply this lesson by allowing ourselves short pauses, real ones. Put the phone down. Sit with your pet. Observe their breathing, their stillness, their honesty. These moments reconnect us with our own humanity. Animals don't judge us for being tired or overwhelmed. They simply stay with us, offering quiet support. Living well with animals also means respecting their rhythms, learning from their patience, and acknowledging that our shared lives create mutual well-being. When we care for them, we learn to care for ourselves. When we slow down for them, we find balance within ourselves. Lou didn't change my life with grand gestures. He did it by lying on the floor, purring softly, and reminding me that sometimes stopping is exactly how we move forward, together.